I had a friend last week ask me the same thing. What can I do? I said, well, there's a great rally coming up on October 18th. He goes, oh, I don't, why bother? I said, why does that even matter? I said, here's why it matters. The more people that show up and you see this huge crowd of people
Right.
on Main Street, Longmont, it really lifts your heart. The fact that you see that many people that seem to care about the same
Right.
things. And,
It can
these are,
bolster us up. It
yes,
could
and
be like lifting us
these are
just a little
people of
bit
all
more.
political persuasions that are out there.
Right.
I've seen them. And so it's important to see and be seen and to have that community spirit that spurs you on. So it's not just for show.
If you're within the sound of my voice, you are watching or listening to the Sterling Spin podcast. I'm excited to bring you a new spin on living, loving, learning. And it is my pleasure to welcome into the studio today Representative Karen McCormick. She is a Colorado State Representative and my guest in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you, Liz. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
I'm so glad that you're here. I'm like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen and somebody lands in the seat, and I'm like, I don't know how they got here, but I sure am glad we have time together today to spin the story of what's happened in your life and what's happening in the world. And that's my intention. How you, a veterinarian, became a politician. Let me give a little background information. A veterinarian, small business owner, and now chair of the House Agriculture, Water, and Natural Resources Committee, Karen McCormick brings a scientist's precision and a community leader's heart to the Capitol. She's known for listening deeply, leading thoughtfully, and championing causes that connect people, the land, and water, the essential threads that sustain us all. Join me as we explore her remarkable journey, the vision that she holds for Colorado's future. Welcome, Representative McCormick.
Thank you. And you were speaking about, how did you and I get here? And I think a lot of what I love about Longmont is the ability for people to connect. And as you connect with people that you meet, they introduce you to others. And so I really appreciate meeting with people and knowing that you're doing this and
Thank you.
and getting out in the community or getting the community voices out there. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love being able to be a launching pad or a sustaining environment to hold people high so that they can shine. I've always loved to do that.
Yeah.
So let's have you shine a little bit. I am very curious how you go from a veterinarian, which means you've got a big heart and you care. Every veterinarian I've ever worked with, I love because they love my animals. And now you're a politician and you're in the state capitol, which I believe it's like a 5-month a period of time that you are in the Capitol building working.
Yeah, this is, it is to me, it's crazy how I ended up doing this job because it was never on my radar to do. And I know that I am a politician, but I don't carry that label around necessarily. I am a veterinarian who happens to be an elected representative for the people of Colorado for a short period of time. In my heart of hearts, I am and always will be a veterinarian. And so the how I got here part is goes way back even before I was a veterinarian. I grew up in a Navy family, and my dad served 30 years in the U.S. Navy, and we didn't have roots anywhere. I was one of those kids that I ended up in 14 different school districts before I graduated from high school.
Wow.
So it was back in the 60s and 70s where I think they moved military families a lot more frequently than they do today. And that moving around the country from coast to coast every 1 or 2 years, 4 third grades, gave me a perspective that a lot of people don't get growing up. My own kids were able to grow up here in Longmont their entire lives. So that ability to see the entire country and to know that my dad was gone half of my childhood, as I became an adult, being more involved in what was happening on a local and national level in politics, it made me realize and think about, he was gone half my life. What for? What was he out there in the world doing, representing this country and fighting for the values and ideals that I consider to be American? And so going into veterinary medicine, I am incredibly interested in data and science. I love fixing things. So that I got from my dad as well. He was an engineer and he was a fighter pilot. So he was very much into fixing things. So veterinary medicine was a natural avenue for me to pursue those things. And I do love animals, but I also love people.
Yeah.
As a veterinarian, you have to like the people that you're serving because it's really all about their relationship with their animals as well.
So yes, it's very interesting when you talked about you wanted roots for your children because you didn't have them, but you started off by saying connecting with people. And it's because you had so much disconnection, you were disrupted, you were pulled away. So it's like sometimes what we haven't had is what we seek to have. And it seems to be a really perfect match. As I'm listening to you, I'm shaking my head. I'm going, oh yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So you now have established for yourself, this is your second term or your third
This is
term?
I'm halfway through my third term.
And 4 terms is the limit?
Correct.
And 2 years
2
is
years
how long you
each
serve.
term in the House of Representatives. Yeah.
Wow.
And the
So-
Senate gets 4-year terms, but they only get 2 terms.
And there's 100 in the
Total.
assembly altogether.
Correct.
And you're one of 65 in the
Yes.
House of Representatives.
Good job. Good job. I'm really impressed.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, I want to
And it's not
understand.
Congress. Because
Yeah.
people think, oh, you're in Congress. And I'm like, no, I'm not in Congress.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, on your point about disconnect and connecting, the fact that we moved so often, my brothers and myself, we actually learned to connect with people fast,
yeah.
which was our ability to get to a new town and a new school and find friends. We had to learn how to be real versatile at doing that.
Are
So
you both, so you're both outgoing?
Well, so I have an older brother and a younger brother, and we're all 18 months apart. So we're really close in age. We're not necessarily outgoing. I would call all of us true introverts, but we're very versatile and we're very resilient. And I think a lot of that has come up because of our upbringing.
I would imagine sitting in the Capitol building, you have to be somewhat resilient
Yes.
also because things aren't always going your way.
They're not.
Right. So, all right. So out of all the issues that you work on at the Capitol, is there a cause or a policy or an area right now, like in this moment in time, that you're really, really passionate about? And why does that speak to you so deeply? How do we get to understand you a little bit more through how that has taken you?
Yes. So right now, and even before I ran, it's healthcare for people. Access to healthcare, affordability of healthcare, logical systems in healthcare are critically important to me as a human being, to my kids, to my neighbors. And I look at our healthcare system and how 60, 70 years ago, we could have taken a different path and we didn't. And now we have this convoluted, kind of overly complicated system that is not getting better for
No.
people. And the concern of what's happening right now and what's going to continue to happen in the relatively near future is the fact that the cost of healthcare is going to skyrocket and people are going to lose their access.
Yeah.
And that is going to affect all of us because the system as a whole depends on all of us to be in it.
I just, I could actually see that interconnectedness, how every single person matters because we all rely on each other, especially if I want to go to the downtown restaurant and the mother can't go to work because her child is sick and has to stay home and can't get her proper medication. That restaurant, how is it going to sustain itself? It's like we're all in this together.
Right. And the fact, you mentioned earlier, I did have my own business for 16 years. I had 24 employees. It was a lot to be a small business owner. Every single year, I had to relook at the healthcare benefits that I had for my employees. How much could we afford as a business? Could we pay all of their premiums? Could we only offer half? I had to shop for new plans. My employees had no say in that. I think
Right.
that's wrong to have the employer be the one who chooses for the user, the employee, the patient, and taking that out of their hands. That has become, again, however many years ago, when we as a nation started to look at having benefits be offered through an employer versus some other system,
Right.
was unfortunate
Yeah.
because it has led to where we are now. And to be able to if we could start over somehow, but I don't think we can necessarily, to take the middlemen out of the equation, have, the cost of healthcare, the provider of healthcare, and the consumer of healthcare be closer together, is
Right.
is
Instead of
my
someone in the middle who's taking
lots of people in the middle.
lots of
There's
people in the
lots
middle.
of people in the
Have you
middle.
made any headway on this? And
Yes,
are you have any optimism about? I know
I
the new health plan prices are coming down right
they're,
now.
they are, and
Yeah, they're scary.
people in Boulder County are going to see their premiums double and potentially triple. These are big numbers. This
That's
is
crazy. I mean, people are already
off
spending
the-
over $1,000 a month for their
and this is
small
why people are going to
families.
look at those premiums and decide not to have
Right.
health insurance. And again, that doesn't mean people are all of a sudden everybody's perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
It just means that the safety net, our emergency rooms, emergency hospitals are going to have to carry that burden, which
Right.
again translates to the rest of us as far as the costs going up.
Is
My-
it still true that if someone goes to the emergency room or has an accident, they have to accept them?
Yes,
because
that is the emergency
yeah, I'm
medical.
hoping so.
Yeah, medical. It's a federal law that, thank goodness, we are a civilized society that if people show up in need of care, they get it.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's way more expensive to get it in that way than to spread the costs out over the entire population, healthy, sick, emergency care, all of it. It just is more logical
Right.
in a fiscal way to do it.
I took a look at your record with your bills, and a lot of them had been approved,
Yes.
which must feel really good.
It does. But I also have an approach when I'm working on a policy to make sure that the bills and the policies are well stakeholded, that you make sure that any part of society or company or professional group that this particular policy may affect have a chance to look at it, evaluate its effectiveness, and also, is it implementable? Is it going to work? So it's important to really do the work behind the scenes before it ever gets to the governor's desk.
Right. I mean, they were very specific and they had all the revenue and what the costs. I mean, I was really impressed when I did a quick look. I'm like, wow, it's so detailed. Do you like conceive these in your head? You have a team of 20? Are they doing research? ChatGPT? What are you doing?
That's a good question because I
doing
had
it?
no idea either.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on down at the General Assembly. You can come with an idea. An idea can come from one of your constituents. The people in your district might have an idea. There could be an advocacy organization. For instance, I have run a lot of veterinary bills, and so there have been ideas from the veterinary profession that come to me and say, we need this change in law, we need this addition, we need this clarification. So you work with the groups that are interested in that subject. And you
So you get that
yes,
from
you
them,
can get that
right.
from them. Then we have the hard work, and kudos out to all the attorneys that work at the General Assembly that are the ones that actually write the bills. They're the brains to figure out how to put your idea into legal language and where it should fit
I'm
in
glad
our.
you don't have to do
know,
that.
like,
I'm so glad.
It is, and that's why when you look at a bill, you'll see the drafter's name on the top. That's the person that really digs in, and thank
Yeah, I
goodness.
saw your name and then another person's name.
Yeah, there's going to be the bill sponsors, which would be like my name and another House member, and then two names on the Senate side. Usually every bill has two senators and two representatives on
That
it.
means it's very viable, if you've
It
got
means it's gotten through both
Yeah.
chambers.
Right.
If it's gotten that far.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. I feel like you took me inside.
I had no idea about the mechanics of an idea, a bill, the stakeholding, none of that. And I was always a good voter, but I was not one to be super engaged on process or even particular policies.
Because you just want to be connecting with people.
Yeah.
Let me connect with my audience for just a moment. Thank you for tuning in to the Sterling Spin. I'd like to ask you to subscribe. Thank you so much. Hit the bell for notification. Please like and comment and share. We love that you're here. And now we'll take one moment so that we can hear from our sponsors. I'm thrilled to welcome a new sponsor to the Sterling Spin, Human Design Readings, Consulting, and Education with Peter Berv. Human design is a powerful tool. It blends ancient wisdom, modern science to give you a blueprint for how you're wired to live, wired to love, and how to thrive. Whether you're seeking clarity in your work, relationships, or personal growth, Peter offers readings locally, nationally, and internationally, and courses that help you unlock your unique design. Discover your blueprint, live your design. Learn more at peterberv.com. Thank you. I'm here with Representative Karen McCormick. I'm Liz Sterling. We are so grateful that you join us for our show and that we get to open up, discover, and uncover the behind the scenes of what happens when someone becomes political, is involved in politics, is a state representative, is going to the Capitol, is having their voice be heard, is representing their district and their residents, and in this particular case, the residents of Longmont. I'm going to move on to another issue. I mean, my question was going to be, can we talk about water? And that is really the question. What's the most challenging unknown that you've confronted regarding water and environmental policy? And how have you adapted? And what are you doing as you're learning and meandering through, these sort of rivers of awareness?
Nice segue there.
Thank you.
Like that. So I'll take your question as unknown to me.
Yeah.
So from my very first year, I wanted to be on the Agriculture, Water, Natural Resources Committee. Because of my background, I have an undergraduate degree in agriculture because I didn't have an agriculture background, and I wanted that part, knowing that I was going into veterinary medicine. And so the Water and Natural Resources was part of that committee. I knew zero about water in the West. When I moved here from Florida, I lived in Virginia, all these places that didn't talk about water.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it very intimidating, the discussion of water law in Colorado, the talk about how we in Colorado, as part of this basin of states that shares the Colorado River, it was all so overwhelming. So from the get-go, I would go to, there is an organization of hundreds of folks that deal in water issues, water law in our state, called the Water Congress. So they have a seminar every summer. I made sure that I went. They had meetings every Monday morning before the General Assembly would convene. During session, I made sure I showed up and listened. So it took just a lot of showing up and listening and asking questions, even if I thought they were dumb questions, because I am very interested in knowing as much as I could, knowing that I can't ever catch up with the knowledge base that's there. But here in Colorado, and especially now with what we've been seeing with this over 20 years of drought conditions, that we're in a crisis situation, and it's important for us for me and people on my committee and in the House and Senate to have some idea of what we're dealing with here in the state as far as the future of our water and our growing population and our warming climate.
You're
So
concerned.
very.
Yeah.
And so was everyone. So
I
folks
know
that are,
it's like one of the elephants in the room
Yeah.
when we're sitting here, because we have to look at some of the changes. You were supposed to be in here last month, but you were called back for a special session. And so you're supposed to be at the Capitol and working from January to May. And you got a call to come in for a special session in September, and that's to go find money.
that was to go find money.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It was to find money so people understand what happened, why there was a special session. By the Colorado Constitution requires us to have a balanced budget every year. We cannot run a deficit. We don't have a credit card. We in Colorado have to be fiscally responsible and balance the budget every year.
you think it's for every state?
No.
No, but Colorado it is.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what other states have it. We have it. So every year, so this past year's budget that started in July 1st, so from January to May of 2025, we were already looking at a $1.2 billion budget shortfall, meaning that the previous years, the amount of things that we owe money to versus the revenue that was coming in was going to be $1.2 billion short. We did that. We uncovered every couch cushion. We got rid of tax credits. We did everything we could before the end of May last year. Balanced the budget. It was very hard to do. We had to make cuts. We had to stop programs. We had to not hire people, all the things. So May 30th, we had a balanced budget. July 4th, because of the partnership we have with the federal government and the things that, we pay into the federal government, and they also help support programs in the states. July 4th, with the passage of H.R. 1 at the federal level, it knocked another $1.2 billion hole in the budget that we just balanced with a $1.2 billion hole from last year.
And it sounds like it was really tough to do.
Really,
Yeah.
really unfortunate. And
Does it hurt? Like, do you feel like it hurts?
It's
to
a
have to do
man-made
that?
problem.
Right.
This is not COVID. This is not any other kind of disaster. This was a man-made program. So that's what makes it hurt
Hurt. Yeah.
because I'm all about preventative medicine and this was preventable. So
So
we
you're talking
had
about preventative medicine, like
Pre-
across the board. You're
yes,
not
like
just talking
preventative
about
problems. Like we don't need to be creating more
Yeah.
problems. So we had to be called back by the governor to balance the budget again.
because it has to be
It
balanced.
has to be balanced.
And it took about a week.
It took
week's
about a
time.
week.
Yeah.
And so again, we had
Well,
to.
can we clap and say,
We
I
can
mean, you
clap.
did,
We did
even
it.
though it was hard.
We did it.
You did it. I
We
bet
did
it was
it.
really hard.
It's really hard.
So you're really concerned? Oh, how do we flip from, I just wrote yesterday, I have a newsletter and I wrote about like, I don't know how to manage my mind because
This
it
is good.
keeps slipping
Yes.
into the pictures, the images, the fears, the worst case scenarios.
Mhm.
There's a lot of gold images. Like, that's all I'll say about that. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to get hope from. I don't know how you're feeling about it. You seem very logical.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help us
Yes.
to right our minds and our thinkings and have something to have our hope on?
Yes. Hope gets me out of bed every day. So we cannot slip into despair, which is the absence of hope. Hope has to be what we focus on, and it's not a false hope either. I truly believe not only in Longmont, but Colorado and the United States of America, there are more and more people paying attention to our universe and what's happening, that I find hope in the fact that people are engaged. People are speaking up. People are connecting with their neighbors and having discussions. And there's still quite a bit of respectful dialogue happening. And I want to lift that up because that is the core of, I think, what it means to be American and be Coloradan, is to accept and have the ability to listen and learn from your neighbors, and to not enter into your day or your world having some preconceived notion about the person you pass on the street or the person that you interact with at the grocery store. We have to somewhat stay local and know what's happening in your day-to-day life. That's good, and pay attention to that. But don't get sucked into staying behind your computer or behind your phone or on social media. Connect in the real world with real people. And that's where I get hope. I don't see the issues that we are facing as necessarily, one box of people against another box of people. I think that we need to at least recognize the ability to be respectful and to move towards helping people. I think if we break things down into specific topics and be able to talk with people about those specific issues, where we're not just lumping it all together. I am concerned about the future of our democracy, honestly, and I want to talk to people about that. I want people to be engaged. I want us to continue to have faith in our elections, which I believe are very, very strong. I believe in what we've done here in Colorado. So I want people to not give their voice away, not give up ahead of time, and to stay engaged and to participate in the democratic process. It's really important.
So you are talking about mind management. You're also talking about connection with the people in your community. So change your relationship with your screens so that you move now into the world. But you also said, mind your mind. Like, look at your projections, look at the things that you're thinking. You can change those as well. So instead of seeing somebody as an adversarial point of view, having an adversarial point of view, I could look for what we can connect on, how we can be in relationship. You seem to think that having relationships and reaching out to others is very important. My team here, they asked me before we got together, please ask Karen. Is it okay if I call you Karen?
Oh, yes. It's my name.
It's like the end of the interview. I'm like, can I call you Karen?
Yeah.
Please ask Karen, tell me what to do. What power do I have? What ability do I have? What should my next steps be so that I can co-create a world that we can all believe in? Because right now we're sitting on the precipice of a big question mark.
Yeah.
So to help them,
Yes.
and they're young, you know.
I know.
These are young
They're
kids
probably
here.
like my kids' age, you know, so
We've got 30-somethings in the room.
I have, my kids are all 30 something. I have twins that
Mine
are
too, as a matter
31
of-
and I have, my oldest is 33.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you have twin daughters, right?
I do.
Yeah, it's lovely.
My oldest is a trans non-binary person. So, you know, I fight for them. I fight for them and their future, and they all live in Brooklyn. And I am thankful that they are so engaged and they are so pushing their friends to vote. Um, Vote. I don't even need to tell you who to vote for. Just vote. Just vote your values, vote your future. I don't want people to give up on the process. And talk to your friends. And, you know, when they may say, oh, it doesn't matter, my one vote doesn't matter, I challenge that every time I hear that. It does matter. We had a great candidate here in Colorado that lost her election by 3 votes in a really big city in Colorado. Another one that lost by 110 votes. One vote does matter. And why would you want to give your power away and give your voice away when you know,
Have
leave
that
it,
right.
you leave it on the kitchen table, you leave your vote there. And
Yeah.
why? Don't do that. The more, I really do believe, the more people that participate in this country and in this state, the stronger our democracy will be. You know, if we just have a 40% turnout nationwide, that's a big part of the problem. We need everyone's voice involved. So that gives me hope because that's an opportunity. Get those people involved. The 60% nationwide that just have given up or think it doesn't matter, or they're in a district that is weighted one way or the other, so they're deluded. I don't care. You know, vote every election and every seat. Your school board members matter. Your city council members matter. All the way up the list, it matters. And the internet and social media and your friends are a great way to find out about those candidates. You know, before, back in the olden days, when we maybe just had the newspaper, it was hard to find out about all the issues and all the candidates and their stances. And today, there's no excuse. You know, the people's websites give you a lot of information. You can read between the lines about what they're all about. So again, I encourage people to stick, you know, the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings are the future. And I am cheering them all on. I want them to stay involved, be involved, and get their friends involved and not capitulate,
I
not
get
give
phone
up.
calls, I get prompts from people and friends. What are you doing? This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going, whether it be on No King's Day or I'm watching this on Substack. I'm like, I'm involved in that.
Yeah.
And it feels good because we're like linking our arms together.
That's it. I had a friend last week ask me the same thing. What can I do? I said, well, you know, there's a great rally coming up on October 18th. He goes, oh, you know, I don't, you know, why bother? I said, why does that even matter? I said, here's why it matters. The more people that show up and you see this huge crowd of people on Main Street, Longmont, it really lifts your heart. The fact that you see that many people that seem to care about the same things. And, you know,
these bolster us up.
Yes.
It could be like lifting us just a little bit more.
These are people of all political persuasions that are out there. I've seen them. And so it's important to see and be seen and to have that community spirit that spurs you on. So it's not just for show.
And what I love, as our final message here is you matter. You matter. Every single person, every vote matters, every thought matters, every person you connect with, it matters. So put yourself in the arena
Yeah.
so that you can be part of this movement. You said what you love about what's happening right now is how many people are waking up and showing up. It's like with all this awareness,
Yeah.
it's got to be for something.
Yeah.
So we're going to be the ones that bring that something from the future, and we'll bring it right into today.
I got my 93-year-old mom who lives here in Longmont to go to her first rally. And she wants to go to all of them now.
That's
She's just
wonderful.
So, yeah. So every age, every
Yeah.
persuasion, yeah, it matters.
Thank you so much. I'm like, my whole spirit has enlivened being with you today. Thank you
Oh, thank you.
for the work that you're doing,
Yeah.
for following your heart, for being in these tumultuous times and still being one who brings us hope.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Until the next time you are within the sound of my voice, this is Liz Sterling thanking you for your presence because you truly matter. And we are going to spin a new story for you every week. But in the meantime, be well, be blessed, be safe. Keep spinning toward tomorrow today.